Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another video. So I saw a TikTok video about this African lady who lives in Sharjah, and she was going on about how she wasn't able to get an apartment because she's black and because she's black and because she's African, but not from the northern part of Africa. So the North Africans don't have a problem getting an apartment in Sharjah, but Sharjah has just put some, I don't know if they were policies in place that don't allow Africans to rent, or is that just like landlords who have had bad experiences with Africans? But I'm hearing this a lot, even from landlords. They don't want to rent to certain Africans because of many things. They bring trouble. It's not everybody, of course. So the lady was saying that basically she's blaming it on being black, but people in the comment section were saying that they were African themselves, and many of us come over here, meaning them, come over here and cause problems. So anyone that's been living in the UAE for a long time, they know this is a fact. So they have a right to feel the way that they feel. They're late on rent. They're doing things that are illegal, just basically cutting up in the units and the apartments and the properties. So the landlords are like, no, we're done. And I've had landlords tell me, like, if they African, no, we don't want it. I'll say, well, what nationalities do you not want? And they would say, we're trying to get away from this nationality, that nationality. And even some landlords don't even want to rent to locals. If they are local themselves, they don't want to rent to Emirates, which is interesting. But it was the same in Saudi. The Saudis didn't want to rent to Saudis. They wanted to rent to non-Saudis because they knew they would get their money. So that's interesting. We would need some insight for that topic. But so it actually made me think about what I wanted to talk about as relates to racism, like actual racism that you experience, especially being an American or African American and coming here. Not surprisingly, the racism that we receive is coming from people of the opposite race that are American or Australian or the British. Not really. They didn't really give us a problem. I didn't really see racism from them. Not saying, of course, that they don't have racism, because they're racist British people as well. But I remember when my ex-husband was still teaching English and he was trying to find employment here, and I would send him all sorts of schools. And he would go on interviews. He experienced it in Kuwait. He experienced it here. He experienced it in Saudi as well. But also when he would go on interviews for mass hiring, for example, a government school project, he would run across employers, or what do you call them, principals and things like that, that were head of the school, and they would say demeaning things about his degree, or what he studied, or where is he from. Like one guy, I think he was from Pennsylvania. I don't know if he's from Harrisburg or something. We're from, Philadelphia is in Pennsylvania. So I think this guy might have been from Harrisburg or something like that. So he's like, oh, you're from Philadelphia? Where are you from, the slums? Like, man, when he would tell me those things, I was like, man, why didn't you curse him out? Why? I was like, there's no way. He didn't give you the job anyway. You didn't have anything to lose. Why didn't you just tell him off? Man, I was like, alhamdulillah, it was you and not me. Whew. That's why there's no way I can be under anybody here, because I can't deal with that kind of stuff. Not in a Muslim country. We already deal with dumb stuff, passive aggressive, racism, in the United States. No one wants to come here and deal with the same thing. And it's not just us, of course. Everyone here, to a degree, suffers some sort of discrimination, you know? Some overtly and some covertly. But it's just appalling, you know? It's appalling to to have to go through it. But I'm learning that everybody experiences it. The Muslim Indians, they experience it. From the Hindus, Indians, they experience it. Everybody experiences a level. The Egyptians get it bad. Why? Because they're known to be troublemakers just around the Arab world, period. They're known for that. So, depends on what country they go to. Some people want to hire them. They don't give them any problems, but they definitely get stereotyped. I mean, I stereotype them myself. You just know the behavior. You're like, oh, he Egyptian. If someone tells me they had a problematic client or of the sort, I'm like, what's his nationality? Was he Egyptian? They're like, yep. I'm like, yeah, it sounds about right. So sometimes people's reputations, your nation, where you come from, they carry a reputation. And even if you're innocent, you get swept in there with the majority. But African Americans in the UAE are not known, or even in the Middle East are not known to cause problems. So, you know, it's just that good old Western racism that they bring with them. Who are you? How dare you be where we are, trying to seek employment? And if I have anything to do with it, you won't get a seat in here. That kind of condescending, entitled mentality. So I would suggest for those of you who are in the work field here, or coming and planning to work, if you have the ability, eventually get into your own. Break off and do your own thing. Be independent. Unless, you know, you can stomach that kind of thing. And they're slimy too. If you don't cooperate, or if you try to like get snarky with them, then they'll plot against you. They'll plot against you, knowing that they can potentially mess your life up, you know, mess up your provisions. So it was another incident where it's not work. It is work related, but not. So Ziad, he got a job at a college campus. It was for a day camp. This company was hosting their summer camp, actually, on a campus. They collaborate with the colleges and they utilize their dorms and things like that. So Ziad got a job with this company to be a house parent for a summer camp. And the children were predominantly Saudi and some were Russian. So the day I took him up to the college so that he could get his uniform and his badge and everything like that, there was a guy from Texas, from the opposite race. He was in there from Texas. He was talking to everybody. Clearly ignored us. He talked to the Africans. He talked to, just being mildly friendly, kind of fakey, and clearly ignored us. Like, we were next to him. We're speaking clear English like Americans. Everyone else in there had an accent. He entertained them, never even looked at us. Even when we went inside and was waiting in the lobby, still, we were right behind him talking and nothing. And I'm like, these people are deep. These people are deep. Something else. But who cares? It's good. It's better not to say anything. If you're a racist, it's better not to interact with the people who you don't like. So it's cool. It's all good. But yeah, those are things you guys got to look out for. It happens. And one thing that African lady, back to that video, what she mentioned was the Arab that she receives racism from are not the Gulf Arab. She said she's been living here for 8 years, and this is what I've been trying to tell people, that mashallah, the Gulf, we're not going to say that no one here is racist. Of course, there are jerks and ignorant people in from every comb, right? However, she specifically pointed out, as well as the people in the comments, they pointed out the fact that the Gulf Arab are the nicest, the most respectful, right? And the Arab who they receive racism from and who are being discriminated against from renting properties, like the landlords that are discriminating against them, are from where? Sham, that is Jordan, Palestine, Syria, Lebanon. Racists. Yes. And if you don't know, these are the most affected by Arab nationalism and all different sorts of deviations that have come about in the Muslim world and the Arab world specifically, and they've been afflicted by that bid'ah and everything like that. They're the most racist. They're in America, the Muslims who try to interact with the Arab, they receive racism from these groups of people. No, you can't marry my daughter. No, you can't marry my daughter. You're dark. He's black. Abid. Now, yes, it is people who experience that in Saudiya. Right? Somebody calling them Abid. Oh no, I got called Abid in Saudi. Okay, great. However, that's not the norm. It's not the norm because it's dark Saudis. Okay, it's dark Saudis, and most of the discrimination that comes from the Saudis is your nationality, not your skin color. Whenever I mention Yemenis, they would be like, ew. I said I went to Yemen. They'd be like, what? Yemen? Why'd you go there? Because the Yemenis were illegal in the country and they were known for making problems. So that's why they turned their faces up and they didn't like them. Because of what they're known for. Not the color of your skin. It has nothing to do with it. So just know that when you experience racism from an Arab, it's those Arab from those particular countries that have been afflicted. Okay? They've been afflicted. Like I said, yes, there are stories coming out of the UAE about maids being oppressed and their passports not being given to them and all that kind of stuff. It's evil people in every culture. However, that is not the majority. I talk to maids myself because I need to know what's going on. The maids in Saudi, you talk to people who are maids here, they do not have an abundance of bad stories about the locals. I've seen the maids being treated like family in Saudiya. That's what I've seen with my eyes. Okay? So to put all Arab in the same category is nuts. And it's incorrect. It's wrong to do that. And as far as being African American, black people don't like that. They don't like being associated with individuals who are lowly, who are criminals. They don't like that. So it's not fair to paint all Arab nations and people with the same brush. And even within the Syrians, there are good people from the Syrians. They're not racist. Even within the Lebanese, there are Lebanese within Lebanese that are not racist. They're good people. So you have, and Egyptians as well. You got many of them from each of these nations who marry black people. The Lebanese, they go to Nigeria. I have a Nigerian friend. She said she grew up with nothing but mixed Nigerians. Mixed. Lebanese, Egyptian. Many Egyptians married to black women and vice versa. Egyptian women married to black men. So we just gotta be just in our judgment and our prejudices and things like that, and not be so blanketed and blindly racist, you know, because that means you're no different from the people who you dislike or you're accusing of racism. All right, so that's what I had to say on that topic. I had to tie my shoes, that's why I'm standing here, because I don't want to fall. And inshallah, I will see you all in the next video. Don't forget the Hijra Mandate sacrifice. Ma'as salama.